I call this video simply Televisual Mirror-World Topology, but the subtitle could be Recursive Chain of Mirror Worlds Between the Real and Virtual in Telepresent Televisual Portals. Here's the chain of the mirror world topology. It starts at the outside world. The outside world is considered part of the mirror world topology. It consists of the real, and it's the real world. And that's the same reason these real holodecks are colored blue, because they're part of the real world. And these yellow ones are considered virtual. This is a cloaking interface. This is the real holodeck. This is the virtual holodeck. And so here's the chain of mirror worlds in its simplest form. The outside world is part of it first. Feeds into each other's cloaking interface, which feeds into the holodeck, the real holodeck, where the person is, in this case Bob and Alice. Their bodies, their forms, in turn, are transmitted to the virtual holodeck, where they're a negative form. His negative form and her negative form in a virtual body, which in turn is transmitted to each other's real holodeck. His is transmitted also to her real holodeck. And this begins a recursive dual-televisual state between transmitted and receiving, and between the outside real world, virtual cloaking, real holodeck, virtual holodeck, back to real holodeck, virtual holodeck, real holodeck, virtual holodeck. And either one of them has a non-local real world. Hers is over here, I guess, in a graveyard. His is over here on the beach. And with the decision of either one's to be the holodeck of choice, the environment of choice, one holds a connection to the outside world. If it's his beach that they want to share, then his maintains a connection to the outside world, while hers is cut off. It's cut off from the outside world, the cloaking interface. And she shares his holodeck, which is transmitted also along with his body, his holodeck, his background holodeck, and his foreground virtual image. But if she wanted to have her graveyard to share with him in her holodeck, then his cloaking interface would be cut off from the holodeck, his holodeck, and her graveyard would be transmitted along with her form over to his holodeck in telepresence. And they both would be scooped up again, and I didn't draw it in, but both her and his form would be in virtual form, and then both her and his form would be in her virtual interface in virtual form, and the background holodeck of choice of the two non-local real worlds. And the application to this mirror world topology, I believe, will be a important part of cosmic portals, not connecting just distant parts of our reality, but just entirely different realities altogether. And please read the description to this video in its entirety to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Also, thanks a lot.